Now this is the BMW Z4 M40i, and as far as the quintessential roadster goes, this one is right down to the playbook. So let's not waste any more time and jump straight to the design and tell you what this roadster is all about. Rule 1 as far as the quintessential roadster goes is the long bonnet, and underneath that you have the 3-litre straight-six turbocharged, but we will get to that later. Now at the front you have the kidney grille, but it is slimmer and much better profile. These headlamps are really cool, and I like the straight running DRL that goes along the side. Of course, you do get air vents for aerodynamics, but we will get to that later. Move to the profile and you get that classic roadster silhouette with, of course, 19-inch wheels at the front and 19-inch wheels at the back. Now they're separate sections. You have a 255 section in the front and a 275 section at the rear. But what's really cool is that you get BMW M calipers on both ends. You get a 4-piston caliper up front and a single piston caliper at the rear. And the brake force is pretty good, but we will get to that when we are driving. Of course, you do have a rack top, a cloth roof, which can go up in 10 seconds up to 50 kilometers an hour, and that is pretty cool, and it works pretty efficiently and quietly, and it packs in to a very small section of the boot. But when we move to the rear, we really get a sense of those sinews with, of course, LED tail lamps, and there's a 265-litre boot, which is not a lot but is more than enough for a weekend's worth of luggage for 2 people, which is all this car can carry anyway. Now I'm going to run you through the aero package on the Z4 M40i, starting with this tail integrated ducktail spoiler, which I think really adds to the character. At the bottom, on either side, you get twin trapezoidal exhaust tips and of course this diffuser. But when you move along the side, you get this little air vent here that channels air over the wheels and out of the bumper, ensuring that you have that constant drag that's there on the front as well. Now remember those air vents I talked about on the front? Well, these are for aero and actually channel the air over the wheels to not only cool the brakes but also give you that little bit of downforce, channeling out and upwards from the rear fender, which I think is really cool and does add some functional aero to the Z4. Now step on the inside and there's not a lot to talk about, but you get all the standard bits. Of course, you can configure the interiors to whatever color you'd like. These all black interiors with black stitching look a little reductive and make the space look a little smaller, so maybe a lighter color interior would be nice. There are some hard plastics like you would find on the dash, but it's something that you get to overlook because this car is just that engaging to drive. Of course, you do have 2 digital displays, one for your instruments and one for your infotainment. This one is compatible with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, both wirelessly, which is a nice touch. You do get a tambourine door with a wireless phone charger, and when you open this up, you also get a little cup holder, which is pretty cool as well. But it does reduce the armrest space a little bit, but that's something that you have to get used to if you are in the market for a 2-seater roadster like the Z4. There are some sacrifices that come with it, but overall it's a very nice place to be. And of course you get this M-specific steering wheel on the M40i, which is a really nice addition, and it comes to the hand nicely. And now this is the pinnacle of open-top convertible motoring, the BMW Z4 from behind the driver's seat in the M40i trim, which means that under the hood there's a blaring 6-cylinder turbocharged motor making 340 horsepower and 500 Nm of torque. That's good for a 0 to 100 time of 4.5 seconds, which is not the fastest car out there, but really when you have an open-top roadster, do you really need more than that? Now, talking about dimensions, the Z4 is still a pretty compact car, measuring in at 4.3 meters, and it has a wheelbase of almost 2.5 meters, which is really cool considering that all the wheels are pushed to the edges of the car, which gives you that really sharp handling when you need it. That said, even with the 135 millimeters of ground clearance that you get on this car, clearing obstacles is barely any work. You have to be a little careful. I mean, you can't absolutely go over a speed breaker. A little bit of a maneuver with the wheel is something that you will require. But that said, this car pretty much gets over everything. Even better than that, it gets BMW's adaptive suspension, which means that when you want to drive soft, it is pretty pliant and it is pretty nice to drive with not a lot being transferred into the cabin. But when you want to drive fast, you switch it into Sport Plus and then it's really stiff, so much so that you can even feel a hair on the road when it's there. But that's exactly the way you would like. And the same goes for the steering wheel, by the way, which is adaptive to not only the mode you're in, but also to the speed. So as you go up in speed, it does start weighing up and feeling really precise. And you can tell exactly where you want to place this car, when you want to place this car. And that makes the driving experience overall that much more engaging. Now, of course, the driving experience on the Z4 can't really be complete without talking about the 8-speed Steptronic gearbox that it's running, which is mated to the B58 version of BMW's 3-liter 6-cylinder, which is slightly less than the S58 that you find on the M2, which makes about 460 horsepower. But I'd still say that given the fact that the Z4 is such a small car, this 340 horsepower is more than enough for that perfect open-top motoring experience. Now, another thing that you're going to want to know about is the exhaust note. And even with the turbo sound from the 3-liter, the exhaust note is really nice. It's not AMG loud, if I can say that, but it does have that really nice bass to it that reminds you that you're driving a quintessential roadster with an open top. It's, I think, the perfect balance. Now, BMW have priced this slightly steeply at rupees 90 lakh, but let's not forget that you don't get the 718 Boxster open top in India. So this is a pretty much one-of-a-kind car if a 2-seater open top is exactly what you're looking for. And when you consider that, the Z4 M40i is almost perfect. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Dipayan. You've been watching Auto Today. If you haven't subscribed to the Auto Today channel, this is your chance to do that now. It means so much to us and the growth of our channel, and to get this amazing content that we do every week out to you. And of course, if you've liked this video, smash that like button. That's it from me. This is Didi signing off.